Fortnite update drops in Reboot vans, and more coming up on today's episode of the latest in tech news. Hey Gadget here, you're just in time for the latest episode of the world's only 3-in-1 show on, hey, you better not have been doing that, on tech, gadgets, and gaming news. That's right, this is the latest in tech news. My name is Taylor Merrick, and you're in for a treat today. If you're wondering why I was doing that sudden outburst, it's because I was making some noise in the background. This computer, stupid retarded piece of garbage. Anyways, outside of that, I love technology. So you're in for a treat today. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna have some tech trivia today in tech history, and then we're also gonna be covering Fortnite adding Reboot vans, which is basically Apex Legends respawn beacons. We're going to be looking at Apple Music has more paid US subscribers than Spotify. We're going to look at two students who managed to run off with $900,000 from Apple in a counterfeit iPhone scam. Snap's plan to fight Facebook. Microsoft's new 50-person group video chat feature debuts in Skype. 5 best things about the new iPad mini, and early access for the Elder Scrolls Blades. So we'll be getting to all of that, but first, let's head on over to today's trivia, shall we? Okay, if you're joining us for the first time, what we usually do every single day, during the week, at least Monday to Friday, is we have some trivia that goes on over at our Twitter channel, at TechNewsGadget, and it's just random trivia with the hashtag LITN trivia that, you know, we should know. And winners get exclusive bragging rights. And speaking of which, we actually got a winner this time. So let's check in and find out what we got. So last episode, I asked you guys, what is the most popular image format on the internet? And it looks like we got ourselves a winner. The correct answer is JPEG, although PNG and GIF, or GIF, depending on how you pronounce it, is are the most commonly used formats, but JPEG is more common, and the correct answer there was Keeler261 on Twitter, also known as Noob26owns, so congratulations, you, my friend, got yourself bragging rights for the day or week, however long you want, because you guessed the correct answer. So congratulations to you. So if you guys are wondering, hey, I'm basically blurt out the answers when I'm watching the show or listening to it as I'm on the bus on the way to work or school or wherever. Well, here's how you do it. Usually every single day, sometime in the evening, Central Standard Time, I'll post the question, the trivia question, out on Twitter. You can find us at TechNewsGadget. How you win is you submit your answer on Twitter by replying to the tweet with the question for today's trivia. The link to this tweet will also be listed in our show notes for this episode. By the way, this is episode number 97, so look for the episode hashtag 97 and LITN trivia on Twitter for it. The first correct answer will be announced in the next episode along with your Twitter username. So if you want bragging rights, you better get in on this. So, the question for today that I have for episode number 97 is, what is the most popular monitor resolution? Post your answers now. We are on Twitter at TechNewsGadget. Post it away right now. Right as soon as you're hearing this, is probably posted. And if you haven't followed us already on Twitter, hey, give us a follow because you might get bragging rights to win it. So there you are. That wraps up trivia. Moving right along, we have to take a look at today in tech history, and being that it's April 5th, 2019, on this day in history, in 1995, Dan Farmer and Westy Venema released to the internet the Security Administrator tool for analyzing networks, known by its acronym SATAN. Jeez, you guys. SATAN is a network scanner for investigating the vulnerability of remote systems. Designed for use by network administrators, the program will soon generate a lot of controversy over the ethics of freely releasing powerful security tools to the general public, and it didn't please the church lady one bit either. Quit telling Satan to scan our networks. It's not a good thing. It's bad. We're going to have to keep putting it. Can I put an angel block on it? You just put the angel block in a secure network. So, a lot of controversy. Obviously, don't give out this good information programs to the internet, because the internet, being the trolls that we are, we'll just go find something and do something stupid with it. It's usually how it goes. Something cool gets announced, the trolls descend, and then it becomes stupid and redundant, and then it becomes meme. And that's basically how we got meme culture today. So, yeah, also on this day in history, computer pioneer Cuthbert Hurd was born in 1911. Cuthbert Hurd is born. Hurd was a mathematician hired directly by IBM President Thomas Watson Sr. in early 1949 and was the only the second IBM employee hired with a PhD at the time. A figure generally unknown in history, Hurd quietly encouraged IBM upper management to enter into the computer field, convincing them in the early 1950s that a market for scientific computers existed after a cross-country sales trip revealed a pent-up demand. At the time, IBM enjoyed large profits from its traditional punch card accounting business, so the change was kind of difficult for IBM to make internally. Hurd's first great success was in selling 10 of IBM's 701 computers, its first commercial scientific machine, you guys probably had no idea, which rented for $18,000 a month. And that was back in the 1950s. Big money. Shortly thereafter, he became manager of the IBM team that invented and developed the Fortran programming language under John Backus. Hurd died on May 22nd, 1996 in Portola Valley, California. So, there's your history, and with that out of the way, let's head on over to our feature article. Alright, so Fortnite is adding Reboot vans, which are basically Apex Legends respawn beacons, except they're vans, guys. This is super cool. So Epic finally confirmed that Reboot vans are coming to Fortnite next week, putting an end to players' speculation. Reboot vans are a new feature, but they'll seem familiar if you played Apex Legends. And if you're Ninja, you'll say, well, one would wonder, maybe, was this something Fortnite planned on adding along all this time, or is this something with the virtually unknown surge to popularity in a #1 spot on gamers everywhere, including streamers, with Apex Legends and this whole cool new feature and slew of new items? Did they just decide to borrow, or did they steal it? I don't know. Remains to be seen. I mean, why borrow when you could just steal something and profit off it? Here's how they work. Dead squad mates will drop Reboot cards that any surviving squad member can take to Reboot vans. So just in case you guys are wondering, hey, can I go in a solo game and still get my Reboot cards? Nope, not how it works. So these Reboot cards a surviving squad member can pick up, which will be placed in certain locations on the map. These Reboot vans will be, to spawn their teammates back into the game. The vans will have a cooldown period, and other players will be able to see that a van is in use and how many players are being respawned at it. Kind of interesting. So they actually have a YouTube video about it, a Battle Royale Dev Update number 13. They go into a little bit more detail. Now, if you've played Apex Legends, you might recognize the system. Apex Legends has respawn beacons, which let any teammate respawn down teammates by bringing a player's banner card to it. By the way, Apex Legends, with the whole update that they did and erasing your progression, they've fixed it, so you guys are all good there. So you can go back to playing Apex Legends if your only reason you're playing Fortnite was because Apex Legends done messed up Ron and you want to shove it to them. It's okay, everything's back to normal on Apex. Fortnite's Reboot cards seem awfully similar to banners. From footage in a developer video, it looks like Reboot cards even have a timer on them, similar to Apex. Now, the similarities might go deeper. The developer video advises players to toss some items to your rebooted teammates to get them back into the battle, which suggests players drop all of their items on death. In Fortnite modes with respawn, players often keep their items and instead lose some materials when they die. Losing all your items on death is a mechanic that plays a big role in Apex. So, unlike Apex's respawn beacons, it seems like Fortnite's Reboot vans can be used more than once. Apex also doesn't alert players to how many teammates are being respawned, and there's no major indicator that a respawn beacon is in use besides seeing a dropship carrying a respawn player. Knowing where, say, 3 unarmed players are about to be respawned could be fun information to have in Fortnite if you're looking to add to your kill count. Now, this isn't the first time Fortnite has adopted some of Apex's best features. If you missed it, Season 8 introduced a ping system that lets players communicate without voice chat, which is a popular system in Apex Legends. While it would be easy to crass and suggest Fortnite is feeling the pressure of Apex stealing its thunder and player base, Ping is frankly a good idea for a battle royale that makes it a little easier to communicate with your team. Apex's respawn system is similarly positive, since it gives players a reason to work together and stay in a match. Having a full squad is more important in Apex given its team-reliant nature than in Fortnite, but Reboot fans might add a little more team cohesion to the game and give down players a second chance. Well, we'll see what the effect is next week. So what do you guys think? Good, bad? Otherwise, let us know down in the comment section or on Twitter at TechNewsGadget. And if you're listening to the audio version of this, you guys are totally missing the video, which you can watch by subscribing to us on YouTube and following us on Facebook. We are /TechNewsGadget on both platforms. Take it as you will, and well, have fun. Have fun, Fortnite. Have fun. Moving right along to some tech news here, Apple Music now has more paid US subscribers than Spotify. And in other news, this Apple News Plus got like 200,000 subscribers in like the first, stupid piece of garbage. Anyways, I already talked about it in a previous episode. I ranted about it. I wasn't too impressed with the Apple News Plus announcement. It's actually kind of pathetic, if you ask me. Speaking to the fact that two big name newspaper outlets that Apple had been courting with for quite some time decided to say, you know what? No, you know what? Here's the exact thing that they pointed to with the Apple News Plus, and then I'll get back to the news. Is they pointed at and they said, okay, so if you are going to be charging $10 a month for this Apple News Plus subscription feature and unlock everything behind our paywall, and then you're going to take a 50% cut of that, and the remaining $5 you're going to divvy out to us based on pennies, based on how many people are, but no. Based on how many people are viewing our content? No. No. We get far more traction and far more worth our ad dollars and subscription and ad and general revenue from our own systems that we have in place. We will keep the paywall. Thank you very much. Apple News, you can go shove it. And this Apple News Plus, they're not signing up on it. And if you know which two newspaper outlets I'm talking about, you know exactly where I stand. So Apple Music apparently has more paid US subscribers than Spotify. But here's the funny thing. Spotify still has more overall listeners. So according to a new report by Reuters, a person familiar with the matter told Reuters that Apple now has 28 million paid subscribers, while Spotify has 26 million. Oh boy, let's rejoice. It's just like the T-Series versus PewDiePie controversy going on. Who has more subscribers? It's like a 2 million difference. Do we get this cool badge? Do we get to slap up there, like, certified by 26 million subscribers? I don't know. However, thanks to Spotify's free tier, the Swedish streaming company reportedly still holds more overall users than Apple Music in the US. In November, Spotify's quarterly earnings report revealed that the platform had 87 million paid subscribers and 191 million total active users globally. Something to keep note. According to a December 2018 Financial Times report, Apple Music has upwards of 56 million users between trial and paid subscribers. So, yeah, well, we'll have to see how it goes. But yay, good job, Apple Music. Do we get to keep our music? Do we get to use the offline feature? I don't know. I'm still kind of out on it. Here's the thing. If Apple, I'm saying from me as a personal standpoint here, if Apple really wanted me to be like a subscriber or consumer of their music, here's the thing they would have done, which would have been the albums that I bought many years ago when iTunes first came out and everything, is if it put it back up into the cloud so that I didn't have to worry about stuff when I moved to different computers. For some reason, the files never transferred over, so iTunes was always blank, but it always showed me as like purchase history, and it never really saved the purchases in the cloud ever. And then the music that I do want to listen to, I don't know, Apple Music is really weird when it comes to that, which is why when Spotify came around, I could sit and I could listen to stuff for free with some ads, or I could just hop right on over and pay, which I did for a certain time period, which is great. And I got more features with that. I don't know. I just feel like the Spotify listening experience, everything else that goes along with it, is what I want for music. There are a couple of things where I differ in terms of what Spotify could do, but when it comes to Apple Music, I never really got interested in it. I don't know why. And my brother's like, well, I use it all the time and it works great for me. And I'm like, I don't know how it works great for you. I mean, I use iTunes and stuff in the past when I just bought albums and songs and all of that, but now that it's Apple Music, now it just got weird. I don't know. It's like there's some disconnect that I'm going on. I don't know if it's because I'm more of a PC than an Apple or a nerd more than a geek, although I identify more as a geek than a nerd. I don't have the glasses, so maybe I need to start wearing half a pair of glasses just to know what I'm talking about. I don't know. Guys, let me know. I'm a bit confused. So if you could help me out with that, at Taylor America on Twitter. Or if not, well, I don't really care because I don't feel bad either way, but okay, can we move on to the next article? Moving right along to some more tech news. 2 students were charged with cheating Apple out of $900,000 in a wild iPhone counterfeit scam. This is incredible. This article is by Gizmodo, and it will be going into it a little bit. By the way, if you guys wanted to know, all of the articles that we mentioned today can be found at technewsgadget.net/97, or if you're listening via your podcast app, you should just be able to find more information or more details, or tap or swipe for more information, and you'll have the more articles link, and you can just tap and pull it up right there. In a grit for the ages, 2 engineering students allegedly scammed Apple out of hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now, it's hard to say if the students were very clever or if Apple was just really bad at preventing this kind of thing. Apparently, Zhou and Jiang, 2 engineering students in Oregon, allegedly brought thousands of fake iPhones into the US, filed warranty complaints with Apple that they wouldn't turn on, and then received real smartphones as replacements. The students then sent the genuine phones back to friends and relatives overseas to flip for profit, of which they collected a percentage. Here's a fun tidbit. The filing against Jiang my Chinese is kind of blurry at the moment, alleges that an associate paid his mother, who then deposited his cut into his bank account. Both of them are Chinese nationals with valid F1 student visas. Prosecutors claim that 3,069 iPhones. Guys, one would think after maybe the first 20, you think maybe we should stop and not do this anymore because they might catch up with us. No. After 3,069 iPhones were submitted to Apple under warranty claims, of which 1,400 resulted in Apple providing replacement phones. And then given that Apple calculates its loss for this typical type of fraud at a standard rate of $600 per iPhone, that results in a whopping $895,800 loss. The rest of the 1,500 claims were rejected for tampering, and Apple reportedly sent back the counterfeit phones along with the letters explaining why the warranty claims had been declined. It sort of puts a dent in both students' defense that, well, allegedly, neither knew the phones in question were counterfeit. Federal agents began investigating this particular counterfeit scam in 2017, and Customs and Border Protection have seized more than 5 shipments of counterfeit from China addressed to both of them. Additionally, the documents show that law enforcement found over 300 fake iPhones, shipping records, and warranty submission records at Jiang's residence. Officials also found at least 4 different mailboxes associated with Zhou, one of which was found with a package containing 25 fake iPhones. Investigators also cited Apple's own records, which detailed 16 warranty returns addressed to Zhou with his mailing address. Oops. Now, Apple did not respond immediately to a request for comment, and neither have the 2 individuals' attorneys. Jiang is facing charges of trafficking in counterfeit goods and wire fraud. That means he could face fines of up to $2 million US or 10 years in prison, or both, on a counterfeit charge. He could also face an unspecified fine and an additional 20 years for wire fraud. Meanwhile, Zhou is being charged with submitting false or misleading information on export declaration. That also comes with a fine up to $10,000 or 5 years in prison, or both. So, one does have to appreciate the chutzpah required for a grit on this scale. Perhaps they should have switched majors towards a law degree. At least then, court experience might have counted for some credits. Although, here's the ultimate lesson, I think, to be learned from this. Don't think you could do this or something along these lines and get away with it. These big companies can crack down on this stuff kind of easily. Don't do it. Don't go and buy a counterfeit phone and then come to the US and then say, oh, my phone doesn't work. Get your replacement phone, and then take that phone, send it back to China, and then have them sell it somewhere in China, and then deposit the money in their account, and then send you a percentage of the cut to your bank account, because there's all this whole tracking going on. You got postal tracking codes, you got signatures, you got email addresses, you got bank account numbers and transfers. Oh gosh, just don't do it, okay? Not a wise decision, especially seeing as how you think oh man, look, I made like hundreds of thousands of dollars. I could pay off my college degree and buy a mansion or something, or a nice new car, Bugatti or something. No, now you're gonna be responsible for, oh, what is this? It looks that in one case, $2 million or 10 years in prison, or both. Just don't do it, okay? Because when the law catches up to you, the law will smack you pretty good. Moving on to some tech news / gadget game app, more like app news. Snap apparently is planning to fight Facebook. Now, for those of you who don't know, Snap has long been known for its secretive ways. Even after going public in 2017, CEO Evan Spiegel rarely divulges much about the company publicly, save for quarterly earnings call. But that may be starting to change. This week, the company hosted its first big public event in history, a one-day partner summit where the company announced several new features aimed at turning the messaging app into a wider platform. Snap announced new camera features, a really interesting gaming platform, new developer tools, and a new lineup of original shows. But one of the most intriguing revelations is one you'd find only from reading in between the lines of the company's news. Snap quietly walked the public through how it plans to fight Facebook at a time when the social network seems bent on complete world domination and crushing Snap. First, Snap laid out a detailed strategy to get users to spend more time within the app. Second, the company intends to increase Snap's visibility elsewhere by partnering with apps like Tinder and House Party to share content. Finally, Snap announced the launch of a new ad network that will appear inside of other companies' apps and will ultimately help advertisers reach an audience far outside of the Snapchat app. Now, it's a bold plan, and one that may not result in the user growth the company needs, but it gives us the clearest idea yet on how Snap sees its long-term future. Now, the most obvious takeaway is that it wants to double down on its already highly engaged teen audience to grab even more of their time and attention. With a new slate of original shows with teen-friendly premises like Two Sides, a scripted drama detailing the angst of a high school breakup, and a new gaming platform that includes Zynga's spin on Fortnite. Interestingly enough, Snap is clearly looking to entice its younger user base. The same is true for its camera updates, which include new utility-driven features like the ability to solve math problems in the app. Kind of interesting. Hopefully the calculator gets it right. That Snap is leaning into camera-based search may seem like a head-scratcher to some, but consider the implication of Snapchat becoming a de facto part of your math homework, and it's not too hard to understand here. And if Snapchat's history is any indication, there's a good chance that this will have the desired effect. Though the app is only just beginning to add new users again, Snap has proved pretty successful at maintaining young users' attention. And here's why. The company revealed Thursday that it reaches 75% of 13 to 34-year-olds and 90% of 13 to 24-year-olds in the US. That's a huge number. That's more than the share reached by Facebook or Instagram, Spiegel claimed. Something else that could have Snapchat with its lingering growth problem, getting more visibility outside of its app. The company has been doing this with its SnapKit developer platform for a while now, but its new strategy with stories is even more aggressive. By allowing Snapchat users to post stories directly to apps like Tinder or House Party, Snap is showing that it's willing to open itself up in a way that would have once been unthinkable. So, Instagram may have stolen Snapchat's thunder on stories, but by bringing Snapchat stories to other apps, and extremely popular ones at that, company now has a chance to prove its version is still just as sticky. And finally, on the business front, Snap announced that they would end up being one of the most important updates, being the Snap Audience Network, a new advertising platform that allows Snap's advertisers to run their ads in other apps. It's a move straight out of Facebook's playbook, and oh gosh, Facebook, if you don't wake up here, you guys are going to get got at your own game. Now, it's up to Snap to prove that it can actually pull it all off. And apparently there's a video that goes along with this too, with this gaming platform and new features. It looks like a Bitmoji party, other games that I think you guys will enjoy. So we're not going to be watching the video, but it will be in the show notes. It's the Mashable article, and the title is Snap's Plan to Fight Facebook is Bold. So you guys excited? Do you guys use Snapchat? Let me know down in the comment section or on Twitter at TechNewsGadget. moving on to, well, kind of a app slash tech slash gadget news. It depends. Microsoft's new 50-person group video chat feature for Skype exits beta. Now, I had mentioned this before in probably previous shows, maybe like a month ago-ish, but starting today, you can use Skype with up to 50 video chat participants as part of a new update to the stable version of the app. Today's update cements Skype as the clear group video chat winner. Hangouts, eat your heart out. Poor Google. At least in terms of the raw number of people you can have in a single call, since FaceTime only supports up to 32 participants. Oh, hitherto unknown, right? Previously, Skype only supported up to 25 callers at once, though the new 50-person feature has been in testing for beta users since early March. See, I covered it, and Verge told me so. In order to have a better handle on so many participants, Microsoft has revamped group notifications a bit. Now, before the update, every single person would receive a ring when a call started. Now, however, the Skype app will generally ping you with a system notification instead for large calls, and you can specify which participants are actually allowed to ring you. However, Skype will still let a call organizer ring everyone if there's fewer than 25 people in the group. So large group calling is available to Skype users who update to the latest version of the app starting today, being April 5th, though. So, all I gotta say is there's one thing that keeps bumping around in the back of my mind, which is namely, why the heck would you want 50 people on a call? It's like you have one person talking, and then you have like 20 other people who want to jump in and say something at the same time. And then you have to have like 2 or 3 people hop in and say, "We guys shut up. So-and-so is talking. We're trying to listen to them. Can you just like mute everybody?" I'm not sure what's going on. I can foresee this being used for just a lot of group discussions where maybe 1 or 2 or a handful of people will be like the main focal point of the call, and maybe a couple, well, the remainder of the people outside of that will like chime in and maybe say a couple brief words here and there. I could see it being used on a business end where you have like this large conference call with people in a company, and yeah, you'll probably have like one main speaker, and then if you have questions, you know, you have to, I don't know, not figure out a way to interrupt everybody else and pop up on the screen. It'll be interesting. We're seeing something right out of the, you know, the future of Back to the Future, which is namely, hey, pull up 8 screens. I want channel 27, 17, 92, 32, and 106. Or and then just have them all pop up on the screen. I'll just take that and do like 50 of them, and you'll be like, what the heck is going on? Will we have like some notification thing of who's talking and like a little larger screen, and everybody else kind of like gets shrunk down? I don't know. We'll find out. Kind of an interesting test phase here. I can also see this being used for coaching calls and other kind of like consulting type services where you have like a large group of people, and you only need like 1 or 2 people speaking, and then other participants can be there and see each other on a call. So I don't know. Kind of interesting, kind of promising. I don't use Skype all that much anymore, namely because the notifications were driving me crazy, and that stupid button drives me nuts. I can't take it anymore. That's why, namely, I uninstalled Skype. That one, like the audio branding of it, I hate that sound. The notification sound, I hate that. Please change it, Skype. If you're listening to this, please change it. I would appreciate it very much. Like, not some. It feels more like a gritty, like nails on a chalkboard type sound. Can you make it something more, I don't know, fun, cool, kind of like Messenger? Anyways, moving on. So we got some gadget news. Apparently the 5 best things about the new iPad mini. So if you've been living under a rock, Apple's iPad lineup has a few recent additions: the 10.5-inch iPad Air and the new 7.9-inch iPad mini. Both are basically the same iPad in 2 different sizes with slightly different prices. Now, I guess the author of this article on CNET has been using the updated mini for a couple of weeks, and it's not always a perfect fit for their needs, but the idea of a small iPad isn't crazy. Neither is choosing this iPad mini in particular. In fact, it has some advantages you might want to consider. They might even become clear after more time spent with the tablet. Here are the favorite features so far. The mini has a headphone jack. The new iPad Pro models went to USB-C and ditched the 3.5mm headphone connection unless you use a dongle. It's a lot nicer to just have a jack on board. I mostly use wireless headphones now, admittedly, but it's still helpful to have. Now, if you obviously get an iPad mini. Number 2 is the cheapest ticket to an A12 processor. And, well, you used to have to fork over $750 for it, but $400 for an iPad mini is nearly half the price, and a way to go if you want better performance. Number 3 is definitely easier to carry. The mini's tweener size feels more like a thin booklet than a mini laptop and is a lighter travel companion. It's easy to hold in one hand or slip in your jacket pocket. No, it's not as small as even a large Superphone, but it's a lot less baggage than larger iPads. And you can get artistic with pencil support as another best thing. Most artists will prefer a larger iPad screen size for sure, but the A12 and pencil combo could mean it could function as a portable work device for artists, but only if you're fine with the 7.9-inch work area. And number 5, you can keep your old accessories. It's disappointing that the new Mini didn't try to reimagine the screen-to-body ratio or find a more organic way to fit a pencil in, but it's still the same size as the iPad Mini 4, and there are a lot of old cases and accessories it can slot into, and that could be helpful if you're budget shopping. And here's a wild card extra: battery life? Now, in battery tests so far, the iPad Mini is doing surprisingly well. It's lasting significantly longer than 10 hours when playing back streaming video, but note that these are early returns and there'll be more details later. Now, you might not need an iPad Mini, but it's a good advantage if you want something smaller than an iPad but bigger than a phone but not so bulky. It's this nice little halfway in between size, so enjoy. And finally, we have some gaming news. Early access for the Elder Scrolls Blades is now open to everyone. Last week, Bethesda launched its first wave of early access for the Elder Scrolls Blades on Android, and today the studio has revealed that it's opening further access to anyone with a Bethesda.net account. Now, luckily, to get an account, it's free, which means that this game is now open to everyone. Earlier today, the official Elder Scrolls Twitter account announced the broadening of access to Elder Scrolls Blades. The account has also asked for fan feedback and announced the future rebalancing of silver chests. Currently, those chests take 3 hours to open, and you can only open 1 chest at a time, which pretty much kills your progress at around level 18 or so. And they also received an update on the Play Store today, which brings in a few bug fixes. One of the more important bugs to be squashed addresses the in-game store items that were incorrectly showing no cost in certain regions. Now that anyone with a Bethesda account can access the game, you may be wondering if it's worth playing. There's no question that its balancing is currently off thanks to its many loot crate timers. Of course, there's still fun to be had if you're a hardcore TES fan or looking for something casual to grind in your downtime. But if you prefer a more in-depth account of precisely what to expect from the game, keep an eye out for their hands-on development announcement tomorrow. So that's from the Android Police. Probably hear something more about Saturday. If you guys are interested in that, the article is in the show notes for today. And that wraps up today's tech news. Oh, I keep pressing the wrong button, guys. You have to tell me, quit pressing that button, press the other one. So that wraps up this episode of the latest in tech news. Thanks for tuning in, guys. New episodes every weekday, which means today's Friday. You won't get any episode Saturday or Sunday, so we'll see you back here on Monday. The latest in tech news can be found on every major platform, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, YouTube, Stitcher, Overcast, and Facebook Watch. If you enjoyed this episode, let us know and double check that you're subscribed so that you don't miss the next episode. I'm your host, Taylor Merrick, and remember, for the latest in tech, gadget, and gaming news, visit technewsgadget.net. Pretty much keeping awesome, guys, and I'll see you on the flip side.